That's one of the scariest experiences I've ever had in my life. Hello everybody, this is Nathan Nelson with Stillwater Outdoors, and in this video you're going to hear about the story of the time I was hunted by a wolf. If you're new to my channel, most of my content revolves around deer and deer hunting. So I had this public land piece of ground that I was interested in doing some scouting on to try to find some deer sign. There was a potential area that I thought would be a spot that bucks would like to bed. It was right on the oxbow of a river. Oftentimes bucks like to bed out on these points. So I was really interested in this spot and I wanted to get back and scout it out. So I finally got the opportunity to get out to this spot. It was early February at this point. There's a lot of snow on the ground. Super cold morning. It was -8 degrees. It was a half-mile hike in just to get to the spot that I wanted to scout. So I always like to take my dog out with me on these scouting adventures. So I brought Leo with me on this day. Once I got out to this oxbow of this river, I did some scouting and I noticed that there was some pretty decent deer sign out there. I found some fresh beds in the snow, found a few rubs. The sign looked like deer had been using this area. So me and Leo, we started working our way around this peninsula of land. And eventually the terrain starts to slope up as you get away from the river bottom. And so we were walking up this hillside, still glancing around looking for deer sign. And I heard some noise behind me, right from where we just came from. And so I turned around and I looked, and out stepped a wolf. This wolf is 20 yards away. It's standing directly on top of our tracks that we just made 15 seconds ago. So at this point, I am beyond anxious. I mean, it is sheer terror going through my mind and in my heart in that moment. I forgot to bring my weapon that morning, so I had no way of protecting myself. I've got a dog with me, which would probably be a tasty snack for this wolf. Let's be real, this thing was huge. When I saw it step out, my first thought was, holy cow, this thing's as big as me. It looked huge. And then you put into the mix that it was a -8 degree morning, and he had fluffed up his fur coat so he looked just huge. The wolf had a big, deep chest on him, and the color of his coat was kind of a tan, gray, slightly brownish kind of mix. So instantly, I reached down and I grabbed my dog's collar. Fortunately, he was sitting there right next to me, and he hadn't even noticed that the wolf was there. It didn't take long, though, for Leo to realize that the wolf was standing right there. He spun his head around, saw it, and immediately he froze. I don't even know how to explain the amount of emotions and adrenaline that was dumping into my system in this moment. I was trying to process so many things as like, what do I do? Because this is like, it's hitting me in this very moment. This is a very bad situation to be in. This wolf is hunting us. He is following us in the woods. So the only thing that I could really think to do in this moment was to try to scare it off. So I yelled at that thing, "Get out of here!" And the thing just stood there. Didn't even move. That made me even more terrified at this point, because he literally didn't even care that I tried to scare him off. So the adrenaline is just flowing like crazy at this point. And I yelled, "Get out of here!" again, except for this time when I yelled, it was like a scary sounding voice that came out of me. And that thing slowly looked up at me, turned, and trotted off from where it came from. I couldn't even believe it. So right away, I was relieved that this wolf had run off, but that was instantly replaced with more anxiety and more fear, because I didn't know if this was just a lone wolf or if this wolf was part of a pack, and if I would have to worry about getting ambushed, or even if I'd have to worry about this wolf following us out of the woods. I had no idea what was going to happen at this point. So I waited there for a minute or two. So I started to move and bring my dog with me. And right away, he put the brakes on. He did not want to go anywhere. He was absolutely terrified of what was going on as well. But I forced him to keep going, and I just kept a handhold right on his collar that whole time because I did not want him slipping out or going anywhere or chasing after nothing. I wanted him right by my side. And then my instincts kind of just kicked in at that point. I took him, and we would walk 5 to 10 steps at the most. The reason why I did that in that moment was because as I was walking, I couldn't hear anything around me because you're making so much noise. So I would take 5 to 10 steps, sit, listen, look around, make sure that there was nothing coming from any angle that I didn't see. Now we had to head back in the same direction where that wolf was just standing. So we kept moving right along, and we crossed our path, and we actually started following our tracks back to the truck. Once I got a little ways into our track, I started to notice that my dog had had a cut on his paw and that he was leaving little drops of blood this whole time all the way back to this spot from the truck. This wolf that was right in front of us was sniffing Leo's blood in the snow. This is not good. We need to get out of here fast. So we kept moving, just doing that 5 to 10 steps at a time. And we did that for about a quarter mile. And finally, after about a quarter mile, I was feeling confident enough that we could maybe move a little bit further at a time before we needed to look around. So the last quarter mile of that trip back to the truck, we would walk and run about 20 to 25 yards, stop, sit, listen, look around, make sure everything was okay. We finally got back to the truck, and that's when I pulled out my camera. And this is my first reaction that you'll get to see here.
Can't even believe it. Took Leo out, and we went to go scout the spot that I figured a big buck would be bedding. I look back on our back trail. There's a big, huge wolf 20 yards away, sniffing our tracks. And being the dummy I am, I didn't bring my pistol with me today. I thought I wouldn't need it, even though I was headed out the door. And I thought, I should grab the gun, but then I just decided not to. I tell you what, I'm bringing that gun with me every single time now, because I had to grab Leo's collar, and I think Leo saw it, and I yelled loud. I mean, like a nasty yell at that thing. And it just looked right up at me, and then it slowly trotted off. That's one of the scariest experiences I've ever had in my life. Made it back to the truck now. I'm bringing my gun from now on.
So this was absolutely the most terrifying moment that I've ever experienced in my life. But I think what made it most unnerving to me was the fact that that wolf did not seem to be afraid of me in the least bit. In fact, when he trotted off, he was not running with this look of fear. He was just kind of slowly jogging away like, I didn't really feel like being in a wrestling match with this dude. I'm pretty confident that this wolf had been watching us for at least a few minutes before it came up close to us. I think that in this situation, this wolf was mostly interested in my dog Leo. He's at least 100 plus pounds. And my dog Leo is only 55 to 60 pounds, so he would have not stood a chance against that wolf. This experience also gave me a glimpse into what life is like for deer living in wolf country. There is a constant threat on their life, and it had me scared spitless just in this one instance. Can you imagine what it would be like to be a deer living under that kind of stress on a daily basis, just trying to not get eaten alive? I'm pretty thankful for how this ended up. It could have been so much worse, so this was the best possible outcome. So all that to say, people, be careful when you go out in the woods. Know your surroundings, pay attention. God's creation is amazing, powerful, majestic, but it is equally just as dangerous. And whenever you step out those doors, there is always some risk involved. You make sure you get out and enjoy God's creation. And just remember next time, pack a little heat. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel.